We're going to talk about together many things, right?
Yes, sir.
From childhood till now, and what you're going to do in the future. So we'll begin with your background. You're French, you're from Indonesia,
Philippines, sir.
Philippines, you're from India, and you're
Argentina.
Argentina. So, 4 different nationalities, 4 different backgrounds, 4 different conditioning. Right? So shall we begin by asking, I'm going to ask you, if I may, what was your father and mother like? How did they treat you? As a toy, when you were a baby and a child? Or did they treat you with a great deal, and they might have treated you with a great deal of affection, care? What's your background? Because after all, that background does condition your thinking, partly, and also it shapes your way of life. And so you gradually fall into a certain pattern. So we're going to begin to talk over it together, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind. What was your childhood like? And what were your parents like? If you can remember. I personally can't remember a thing about my youth. Little bit, very vaguely. My childhood, my mother, father. I can't see them, what they would look like. But my thing is different, so I would like to ask you, begin with India. Or would you like to begin with you?
No, it's all right. Begin.
C'est beaucoup mieux, n'est-ce pas?
It's all right.
What was your parents like?
Shall I begin right from the beginning?
Yes.
As far as I can remember? Or
Huh?
as far as I can remember? Or
That's as far, of course. You want to know
Obviously.
when you're born, the second you're born.
I'd like to think that I had a happy childhood.
Not like to think,
Well,
but actually. That's why let's understand each other right from the beginning. It's better to deal with facts as they are, right? Not imagine, romanticize, hope, or say, I thought it was like that, but actually, factually, so that we can go from fact to fact. You follow? Not bring any kind of imagination or fantasies and so on. Would that be all right?
of course.
Right?
It's difficult though.
Nous sommes d'accord? Yeah.
It's difficult because we're talking about memories, about the past, and I always get mixed up. I mean, I'm not sure how it really was.
No, just not how you can't remember.
Well, I think mine is quite a simple case, sir, so I don't mind start with myself. Although I live in the Philippines now, I was actually born in Hong Kong. And as far as I remember nothing before what happened when I was in Hong Kong.
How old were you?
When I was in Hong Kong, I was there for 8 years, for the first 8 years of my life.
So, what was your 8 years like, if you can remember it? With your father, your natural.
No, my father was in the Philippines.
Then you lived with your mother.
Yes, and my brothers and my
Brothers
sister.
in Hong Kong.
Yes.
Then what was your relationship to your mother, to your other brothers and sisters, and what were you feeling like? How did your mother treat you? Get your background clear. You follow what I mean?
Yes. She wasn't working then.
Yeah.
Well, at one time she had to do some work, but not much. So her main job was to look after us.
So what was your relationship to her and her relationship to you?
Well, as a mother to a child,
What?
as a mother, we were very well looked after by her. And as far as I remember, I was very happy with her and with my brothers.
Was she merely looking after you? Or was there a great deal of affection, care, responsibility? You follow? As a mother, mothers are always much more important than the fathers, right? Right? Because they, especially in India, they look after you. Mothers are the last people to eat, right?
In my case, my father looked after me for a long time.
Little bit louder, please.
In my case, my father looked after me for a long time.
With you, absent.
No, he looked after me. My
Not
father.
your mother.
Both.
Both. No, you're not answering my question quite, if I may repeat again. Unless you're very clear what your background is, from childhood, as far as you can remember, naturally. That background, that conditioning, or that, what the past from the beginning, when you can remember, shapes one's mind gradually, right, brain. And then you get caught in a pattern. You're a Brahmin.
Yes, I come
Yeah.
from a Brahmin family.
You're born as a Brahmana family. And that certain traditions, certain superstitions, certain kind of way of living. Probably not true orthodox, right? Or were they very orthodox?
No, they weren't Orthodox at all.
They were not. So, they were more or less stepping out of tradition. Then what was their feeling about you? How did they treat you? What was their feeling about you and your feeling about them? Did they love you or just looking after you? You understand what I mean by loving, caring, hugging, putting you on their lap, looking after you so that you slept properly, that you had the right food, that you weren't too rough or too gentle, taking care of you greatly. How many sisters and brothers did you have?
None.
So you're the only child? Yeah. So did they spoil you?
You're asking a difficult question, sir. I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Well, answer my questions. Because I tell you why it's important. Do you see the importance of it? Huh?
I'm not sure, sir.
That is, if you are not brought up properly in quotes, we'll go into that, what it means to be brought up properly. If you're not brought up properly, your life begins to be twisted somewhat, right? You either don't care for the world, you become more and more self-centered, more and more concerned about yourself, your happiness, your way of life, more and more self-interest. And when you're quite young, that self-interest isn't too prominent, too defined. But as you grow older, it becomes stronger and stronger. Then you assert yourself, or aggressive, or all the rest of it, right? So I'm asking you, what was your background? What was your, not only environmentally, but also financially, also your relationship with society, how you related to nature. Well, when you looked at the trees, what you felt like. When you saw a deer, probably you never saw a tiger. I've seen them, but that's in wild, that's fun. So what was your relationship, the whole thing, to the whole of life, to the trees, to the grass, to the flowers, and to your parents? You understand what I'm saying? Isn't that important to find out for yourself?
You were talking about
Louder.
being brought up properly.
Properly, I'll tell you what I mean properly. You had the right number of hours to sleep, right food, in the sense you were Brahmana, you didn't probably eat meat, probably. Now, of course, all that's blown. You were very clean, kept very clean, right? And your clothes were washed regularly. Your clean clothes, and you slept in the right place. Maybe on the floor, but it was clean. Was there, say in India, a traditional background, or not at all? Or it was becoming very modernized?
If one lives in urban India, it's quite modernized.
Quite?
Modernized, westernized.
That means what? Did you eat meat?
Well, at times, yes.
So, you see what I'm trying to get at? You're understanding? In the old days, say from my father or mother, they were very strict about it. They never ate meat, fish and so on, never smoked. So the whole tradition is changing tremendously. So, in other words, economy is changing. And therefore, you are forced to accept what everybody is doing, right? Meat, smoke, alcohol, you know, the whole.
The clothes you wear.
Like
clothes you
everywhere else. So, is your mind also, your brain also becoming ordinary like everybody else? Yeah, inquire. I'm asking you. Don't say yes or no. Find out. Let's inquire. Right?
Yes, sir.
Vous êtes d'accord? Bien.
Sir, from what you said about being brought up properly,
Properly, I explained
yes,
what
you
I
have
mean by
explained that, yes. And
real affection, real sense of while you are young, you must be protected. That you learned to be gentle, to be quiet, to have certain modesty. You follow what I mean? The whole of that kind of, right?
well, in that case, sir, I didn't have that. And also, I was living in a city.
In a city, of course.
And I think many of us, probably many of the children nowadays, are in that environment.
That's the environment, quite. But all that has made a tremendous impression on you, did it, or not at all?
Yes, some.
So, what's your background? You know, what is the condition of your thinking, of your feeling, of your emotions? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
What were they like? What are they like now? And in relation to the past, of course, what you are now is what has been, right? Right? So what were you like? And what are you now? You can't be something totally different now from what
Yes.
you've been, right? So trace it out from the beginning, from the time you remember till now. Trace it out. Take time. Go into it.
Well, I must say it was quite narrow then. My outlook of life was quite narrow. And from what...
Are you judging now? From now, it was saying it was narrow,
Well, sir, I was in a city, right?
Of course.
Probably I didn't have much contact with nature, as you
So,
said. It's quite important.
yes.
And also, I was only living with my family. And from what I see of my mother now, I'm sorry to say, but her whole life is to bring us up, and she expects us to look after
Of
her,
course,
when she's
naturally,
old.
naturally. Probably whole of the East, Asia, there is no social security.
Mhm.
There is no social security. Therefore, the sons have to look after the mother. Therefore, they have to have several children,
Yes.
and so on. You tell me, Ale, you talk to me. You
Well-
don't keep quiet.
I can remember that when I was young, I wasn't really thinking about nature, thinking about looking at a tree or thinking very much, I was just
You were
living.
in the country.
No, I was started in Paris.
No, but I
I was-
want to go further back.
Hmm?
When were you studying in Paris? At what age?
Well, I was born in Paris and then I stayed until I was 7.
In Paris.
Yes.
That means what happened in Paris to you during those 7 years?
Well,
You see, I want, please understand what I'm trying. Trace it out. Think it out. Look at it. As though you're looking at a picture which is yourself, you understand?
Mhm.
At a series of movements, series of actions, series of feelings, all that has led you up to now, right? You might want to talk about it. That I understand.
no,
You understand what I'm trying to say? Alesi, talk, go on.
But I went to an ordinary school in Delhi
Yes.
where you had, say, 25, 30 students in a class, and the teacher would write something on the blackboard.
But before that, I'm asking you.
Well, I went to school at the age of 2.
Huh?
I went to school at the age of 2.
Good Lord.
Indian children are sent to
At
school
the age of 2?
2 or 3, yes.
What? Find out. You see, you're not inquiring. At the age of 2, that I can hardly believe.
Yes, to a nursery school.
To nursery school.
Hmm. Well, nursery school, you just play with other children.
I understand. Not school then. It was really kindergarten.
Well,
kind
you learned
Yeah.
alphabets and
of
numbers.
creche. I mean, you know.
No, well, you learned your alphabets and numbers then.
So what, as you grew up,
Hmm.
trace it out. I can't repeat this over and over. Trace it out. Trace the whole thing from that, when you begin to remember till now, so that you are very clear for yourself. You might want to talk about it, I understand. But if you say, sorry, I won't talk about it, it's all right. But if you want to go into it, either you express it, put it into words to convey to others, or you're tracing it out in your own, you follow, and you may not want to talk about it.
So I think it's easy to tell you what happened, but it's difficult to say what one felt when one was young.
Quite right.
It's very difficult to say
So,
how I felt
all
about
right.
my parents.
I understand that. Now, tell me a little more.
I don't know how to proceed. Do you want to know what happened?
Yes. What happened? Say, for instance, when you were 5,
Mm-hmm.
you remember when you were 5.
Mm-hmm.
Then from that age till 12, right? 7 years. What was you thinking about? What was your feeling about others? Or about your father and mother?
I can remember that I was mainly thinking about going to school and, not liking school very much, but mainly there were my parents telling me the things I should do and the things I shouldn't do, and the school also, at school, the
So-
teachers.
Go on. I'm pushing you.
Well,
I remember I was in a Catholic school run by priests.
Where?
In
Buenos Aires?
No, it's in the northwest of Argentina.
Which is that?
Hmm?
Tell me where.
Well, the city is called Tucumán.
Yes, Tucumán, I know.
It's next to the mountains.
Yes.
And I was in in this school run by priests. And yes, I remember I was quite influenced by what they said, and sometimes I used to feel very scared when they talk and they said that if I lied I would go to hell or things like that, But on the other hand, at home my father usually said that all what priests said was rubbish, and then sometimes I paid attention to the priest, sometimes I paid attention to my father. And, that's one thing.
May I ask another question? Was learning, writing, reading, was it a problem? No?
no.
No, just means you're not. Say, for instance, you went to school. You were told to study a book. It doesn't matter
Yes.
whatever it was, to read, to write clearly. Did you make that into a problem?
No.
Well, no, I think it was something that we had to do, and we were
No,
doing it.
You had to do, but you didn't. Was there a feeling of not wanting to do it or wanting to do it?
Well, in the beginning, there might be that feeling of not wanting to do it.
Right?
I don't think
might be, I see.
that could have come up. I don't think one could have. I don't think I would have thought that maybe I could not do it. So there wasn't this feeling
No,
of
I'm
not
asking-
wanting to.
No, you're not quite clear. You're not answering.
Well, I'm saying I don't
Say,
think there
please,
was.
wait. You have to learn mathematics,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
All of you. Did you make mathematics? Did you meet mathematics as a problem, or you were forced to do it? You understand that? Was it a problem to you? Was it something you felt, my gosh, I don't want to do it, but you had to do it?
Well, we didn't have any other choice in a way.
Uh-huh.
We didn't have any other choice. When you had to go to school and you had to follow those
was
classes.
it something disturbing? Something you kind of struggled to learn, so that it became a problem to you?
I would say it depends on the subjects in a way. I mean, you're saying mathematics, for me it was a problem, but other subjects were
So-
not problems.
I'm asking, this may be a little too serious. Have you got problems now? Something which you have to resolve?
Yes, I would say yes, I do. Sometimes there are some things that, and I feel, oh, that's a problem. What can I do?
So, why do you call it a problem?
Well, I think I'm.
Just listen to my question first. I may be wrong. Don't accept what I'm saying or anything. Is your brain inside the skull, has it got many problems?
By itself, the brain by itself?
Your problems, mathematics, marriage, sex, where you're going to do tomorrow after you leave here. You follow? What's your future? Isn't that all something that disturbs you? Or you merely live day by day.
No. Very often one has to think of what one's going to do in the future
Yes.
after I
So
leave Brockwood.
does that create a problem in you? You're frightened, you become anxious. And say, my God, life is so monstrous, you follow what I mean? So frightening, so dangerous. What am I going to do? Or you just think, I want to do that, I'm going to do that. Nothing else.
Or I don't know what to do.
Right. We'll come to that presently. What I'm trying to find out, you're not helping me, you're not tracing out your life. So to put it differently, you don't know your condition. Right?
What do you mean by that?
I told you, I mean by that conditioning, the tradition, the school, the various subjects you had to learn, and the background of your father and mother, what they were like, and what they told you what to do and not to do, their superstitions, or their beliefs, or their faith imposed on you. You follow? All that shapes your brain. Right? Because they're older, they're more influential, they know better than you and I do. Right? So they say you must do this, you must not do that, and they scold you, or beat you up. Right? So all that shapes your brain slowly, right? You understand what I'm saying now? Right? Agree? So that gradually becomes your conditioning. Then your conditioning becomes still more when you have to take a special subject and become a specialist, right? As a carpenter, gardener, or a scientist, or a doctor, and so on, right? So gradually your brain becomes narrower and narrower. You follow? Are you aware of this?
Well, I don't.
Wait, listen to me. Listen to me.
It's just.
Are you aware of this taking place in you?
Why do you say it becomes narrower?
If you don't like that word narrow, it becomes limited.
You mean because I have to choose something that I
No,
have to do?
when you say, I want to do that, right? That's my life. So gradually, you concentrate on that, right? You don't take life as a whole. You understand what I'm saying? Not. It doesn't mean that you must know all about playing piano or some instrument, that you must know all what the scientists are saying, right? All the books. I don't mean that. I'm trying to point out, if I may, where there is self-interest, whether in specializing or in having some skill, learning many languages, they're all good, but if there is self-interest, it becomes, you understand? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, but we're not aware of it.
First, listen to what I have to say. Where there is self-interest, right? Me first. My interest first. What I want to do. I am free to do what I think. I will rebel against my parents. You follow? I will do what I think is right. My prejudice is as good as your prejudice. I hold to my opinions, right? My conclusions, all that is self-interest in different ways. That self-interest has enormous consequences, right? If I'm interested only in myself and I marry somebody, and she's also self-interest, you understand the reason? It's a mutual self-interest.
So would you say there's self-interest in a human being right from a very young age?
Huh?
Would you say that there is self-interest in a human being from a very, very young age?
Probably. My book, my talk.
But before you can say, this is my book.
I don't know. That will. No, I've read somewhere some scientists have discovered they may change tomorrow. They try to do. They said the baby knows who the friends are of the mother. The mother, then baby knows with whom the mother is friendly, of whom she kind of resists or nervous or frightened or the baby has a feeling about it. Probably, I don't know, I read it, maybe wrong.
So self-interest could be acquired or it could be genetic?
Find out, I'm asking you, don't ask me, I'm asking you.
I'm wondering if that is so.
Find out. Rather, we know what self-interest is, don't you? Right? It can be, that self-interest can express itself in prayer, in worship, and devotion to somebody, right? And also in knowledge, right? In certain capacities, as a painter, as a musician, right? It hides itself in faith, in belief, right? Right?
Yes.
Huh? So, we know where self-interest is fairly clear, right? Do you know where it is not? Careful, careful, don't answer yet. Where it is not. We know where it is, right?
It seems to be pretty much everywhere in all humanity.
Huh?
It seems to.
You go on.
It seems to be
Common to all
almost in every human being, and
I know all that. We know that.
And it seems to be in almost everything I do.
Yes.
And
So-
sir, it also seems something natural.
Huh?
It also seems something natural.
You find out. See, I'm asking you to inquire into all this, if I may.
No, sir, I don't know what self-interest is not in.
Huh?
I don't know what it is not
Find
self-interest.
out. Do you see it hides in most subtle ways and the most cruelest ways, right? When I use you and you use me, it's most, right? So we know where it is, where it hides, where it kind of subtly moves along.
yes.
It may be worshipping nature. Follow? It is extraordinarily subtle. Right? I'm not talking all the time. I don't want to talk all the time. You're making me talk all the time. You're not answering my question. I'll finish it. You know where it's not, where it is. Right?
Yes.
If you have examined closely, if you have observed very carefully what is happening around you, what's happening in, follow? Self-interest seems to be so extraordinarily dominant. And you also know it's very, very subtle. Social help, social activity,
That's right.
helping people. You follow? And the gurus with their blah, you follow?
Very often we don't notice it.
Therefore, find out where it is not. We'll come to that presently. You haven't told me, not to me, you haven't discovered for yourself what your background is, what your condition is. why you think this, why you don't think that. You follow? Go into it.
It's difficult to define what one's background is. I mean, it feels that's what I've lived, you know.
Yes, that's what I'm asking you. That's your background.
But so if you ask what did you feel about it, I cannot say, because I don't
bother.
remember.
All right. Then tell me, what were the facts? If you, as far as you can remember, far back.
That would be a very long story, Krishna.
Yes, it's a long story. Go on, we've got time. You see, that way you are beginning to learn about yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you are, what you feel, why you feel, what you think, why you think. You follow? You begin to learn your reactions. You begin to learn about your own way of looking at prejudices, all that. You begin to learn about yourself, which is very important, right?
Yeah.
We say, you really agree? You really see how important it is to know yourself. Do you? Not what other people say. Right? To know all the corners of yourself. All the carve, all the underground, all the shadows about you. You follow? The whole, your whole being. Right? You know mathematics, obviously, or history or geography or some technological subject, or you are probably have some skill in some music, in some instrument, so on, so on. But apparently, you don't seem to know about yourself, which is far more important than learning how to paint or how to dance, which is necessary too. But that, you follow what I'm saying?
Why do you say that, sir?
What?
That it's more important than...
Obviously, sir.
Well, but we spend
I'm
most
asking you, but tell me what you think.
Well, you see, we spend most of our time learning
I know.
mathematics or...
Yes. So are you
English.
also learning about yourself?
Well, as far as I remember, not before.
No, not before. Now, to learn about yourself, you have to trace what you are, right?
Uh-huh.
What you are 10 years ago, what you are now. Is that the result of 10 years? Inquire into it.
So I was brought up to believe in God, not so much by my parents, but by my friends, my cousins, my uncles, my aunts, to believe in God.
Yes,
And
like most people do.
yes,
Yes. Move from there.
and I never really questioned that.
Now, when did you begin to question? Do you question it now?
Yes.
Now, when you question, what takes place? How do you question it? Why do they believe in God? What is it that makes them believe? You see, you ought to be asking all these questions.
It seems an easy way of living, you know, if you say there's God and He will send this to us and He has arranged things, so you put the responsibility in God.
Yes, so what do you say?
You want something to hang on to.
Yes. What do you feel?
Now,
What do you feel, say the vast majority of mankind believe in God, right? In different ways, right?
Mhm.
In the Asiatic world, it is the Buddha. The Hindus have many gods. And the Christians and the Muslims have only one, right? And what is your feeling about all this?
But wouldn't this feeling we have about it, wouldn't it come from the feeling the parents had about it?
So you believe too?
No.
Wow.
Where my parents told me, you do what you believe if you want, you don't believe if you don't want.
Yes, so what do you feel about it?
Well, I personally don't believe in it. I
No,
mean,
that means what? You don't care.
no, it's not that I don't care, but I don't.
You're indifferent.
Well, I was in a Catholic school for a while, so I saw, how they, how they go to church and
Little
how
louder.
yes, how people when they go to church
You're not
and
louder.
all what happens when they pray and they're singing and repeating many things, and I didn't really see the point of doing that.
So is that your part of your background? That you saw all this?
Yes.
And you say what circus it is, what nonsense it is, or what, how marvelous it is, how you follow? What was you are not doing what do you think about all this? The wars, the terrorism that's going on. What? One group fighting another group, like in Lebanon. Right?
Sometimes when
Shiites against Sunni. You follow? Christians. What's your reaction to all that?
I feel frightened sometimes when I think of it.
Frightened of what?
Well, that one day the world could blow up, maybe.
So
That you
are
could be.
you concerned about the world or concerned about yourself in the world?
Myself in the world.
That means self-interest.
Yes.
So go, you see, I'm trying to push you, you don't investigate. You don't say that, in Brussels, that horrible thing that happened, 42 people were killed. What's your reaction? You saw that, must have seen it on television or read in the papers. And what do you feel about it? What you feel about it will depend on your background. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to inquire into your background.
Yeah.
So unless, that's what I'm trying to ask, unless you trace it out very carefully, step by step, so that you know what your actions are, what your feelings are, why you think this way, what your prejudice. You follow? You begin to learn all about yourself. And then you find that you are, by Jove, I'm conditioned as a Argentine, as a Catholic, as a Hindu, or white nonsense, all that. You begin to learn about yourself. Right? Isn't that important? Careful, don't answer something. I'm asking you a question. Isn't it important to know about yourself?
Why is it so important?
I'm asking you.
But I mean,
Lady, look, I'm asking you, isn't it important? Really very great importance that you should know about yourself? I'm asking you a question, don't you?
Well, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I'm trying to think
No?
what the importance of that would be. And
Well, then why do you give importance to mathematics or geography? Or you're becoming O-level and A-level, learning more and more about history. You follow? You think that's important, and you say, well, this is what?
Because I've been taught to see that is important.
So, I'm asking you, do you consider this as important? To know yourself?
well, Krishnachit, you've been saying that it is important.
I'm asking you. Don't tell me what I said, what I've said.
Well, but because of what you have said,
No.
then I start to think, well, maybe it is because you said that.
Now find out if it is important or not. Forget what I have said.
Yes, it's true. Even though we heard what he said, it seems we don't go into ourselves, maybe because we don't see the importance of it.
You see what's happened to you for? You haven't learned the art of inquiry. Right?
But what is the art of inquiry?
Huh?
What is the art of inquiry?
I'm showing it. I'm showing it to you. The art, learning what you were as a young girl, how you looked at things, what your feelings, your parents, your environment. Slowly begin from there. Find out what you are now. So that I'm not going to tell you. You tell me, I'm asking you a question, examination. You have considered acquiring knowledge about various subjects as tremendously important. Right? Why? Is
Because
it for-
everybody else around me
And-
thinks so.
Of course, everybody wants to smoke. Everybody wants to drink beer.
But that's what happens. You tend to do something which everybody else does.
Why? Why? Inquire. You see, you're not
Well,
doing it.
but
Well, you're just like everybody else. I mean, you're not, you tend to, everyone does the same thing and no
So,
one tries to.
Then you are becoming gregarious. You want to belong to a group.
yes.
Yeah, but you're not aware of it.
Find out. Don't say there is no other way. Find out.
Yes, but that's how.
I don't want to be alone in something that I
So,
do.
find out why you don't want to be alone. Is it fear?
Mm.
Is
Yes.
it that you want to belong to a group, feel safe? Safe?
It feels secure to be.
I mustn't tell you all these things. You tell me.
Yes, sir. It does feel safe to be part of a group.
So, you are frightened or nervous or feel the danger not belonging to something, to a group, to a country, to a tribe,
To my family.
to my, yes, and to a nation.
Mhm.
Right? Do you see the consequences of all that?
Yes.
You should know there was war in Falkland,
Yes.
Malaysia.
Hmm?
What's the word called Falkland?
Malvinas.
Malvina, that's
Yes.
it. And they had war, right? Killing I don't know how many thousands. Which is a particular group of people wanting that land. Another group says, no, you can't have it. We'll go and kill each other, right?
Yes.
What do you think about it?
It seems foolish to think that one would kill because of a piece of land.
Yes. Now wait a minute.
But
Why are people attached to this? To a particular group, particular British and the Argentine or the French and Algiers. You understand? The Hindus and the Muslims.
Does self-interest come into this?
What?
Does self-interest
Find
come into
out.
this?
See, inquire. Don't ask me. I'll tell you.
if the self-interest didn't tell you to belong to this group, you wouldn't have the groups, then you wouldn't have the problem. Is
And also,
that
as
right?
you said, we want to be safe.
I'll keep quiet. I won't talk. You go into it. That's why I've been saying, please learn the art of it.
We often think inquiring is asking a whole lot of questions.
To yourself, not asking others.
No, to oneself as well.
Are you doing it?
I want to know, is it just asking any question that comes to your mind? or
Yes,
or
any
is there such
question
a thing
about
as-
yourself? Not what kind of kite or what kind of bird that is, that comes later. You know, probably you have studied grade D books. You know what chemistry is, you know what the whole nature of history is, right? Geography and mathematics and science and all the things you know very well. You have been brought up in it, educated, right? You give tremendous importance to that. And you say, well, the other thing doesn't matter. The other thing being what you are, why you are. What's the future of you? Right? Learn.
Krishnaji, I think we do think about it, and we are somewhat worried sometimes about the future, but it's difficult to find an answer.
And
About the past or the future, I find like I seem not to be able to answer these questions I ask myself.
Because you haven't inquired over.
Well, I
But
ask the
somehow,
question.
sir, there are some.
No, don't ask the question. Find the answer for yourself.
So, sir, somehow there are blocks to go into oneself. Would
Why?
it-
Why?
So, I don't want to ask these questions at times because I'm afraid of finding out something that I don't like.
So find out why you're afraid. What is fear? You see?
Yes.
Find. It's no good standing on at the edge of a pool and say, I can't swim, I can't swim, I can't swim. You learn from a professional, or you temporarily getting little by little, you follow?
Yes.
Sir, could we find out what the blocks are?
Oh, find out.
I mean,
Now,
now.
Well, she mentioned fear.
yeah, she
Just
mentioned
now.
one of them.
One of them.
Yeah, she said fear and wanting it to be safe. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now find out what it means wanting to be safe. Safe from what?
Somehow it is not wanting to move because you don't know what's somewhere else.
Yes. So your mind, your brain becoming limited through fear. So you say, but I don't know, so I won't even look at it.
Or I have been hurt before and I don't want
Yeah.
to be hurt again.
That. So take hurt. Why are you hurt? Who is hurt? See, so Prabhupada, please learn. Step by step, you didn't know history, right? But you learned. Spend time, book after book, or somebody telling you. So this way, go step by step and learn.
Is there a teacher,
That means
sir?
is your brain active in certain direction, knowledge, books, examinations, A-level, O-level, and you want a job, follow at the end of it, or no, or not. Why don't you spend little time over the other side?
I'm not sure I have seen the importance of knowing oneself.
Why? Why don't you see the importance of it?
In one way, one doesn't feel important if there are so many other people too, and they are also doing the same. Then you feel, well, I can't.
So
In a sense, you feel
you're
I can't be
really-
that important, but
From what you have told me, you're really following the herd. All right. Find out what you're following.
Like we said before, sir, I want to belong
Then
to
go
something.
into it. Learn.
Why do I want to belong?
Yes. And see the consequence of belonging. Consequences are separation, right? One group against another group, right? One tribe against another tribe. gradually build up a nation, and this nation against that nation, right?
Mhm.
This nation represents one ideology, and this group represents another ideology. So ideologies are fighting.
Mhm.
For that you kill millions. Right? So follow it up. Is this the way to live after million or 2 million or 50,000 years? Is this the way to live?
Well, somehow
See,
we've done
you-
it so
you-
much that it doesn't seem different. It seems that that's what we've always done, and that's in our nature to do that.
All right, okay. If you say it's my nature to be cruel, all right.
Well, I don't say
listen.
it's my nature, but you say then people are like that. People have wars, and then you.
All right. Then,
But
then live violently. You see what I'm trying to say? I'm saying find out. Not from me or from somebody else. Find out for yourself. Yeah. You haven't said a word.
I've listened.
That just it.
is it that
So, in learning mathematics, we have a teacher, right, to teach us. Now, in this area, you
Nobody
keep on
can teach
saying,
you. Then they're telling you what to about you. Right?
but are they two different things?
Of course. There you are being informed about history, right?
Yes.
What kind of wars, what kind of kings, what kind of society, right? Right? History, what does that mean? What is history? The meaning of the word.
The history of human beings.
Yes, history of human beings. Oh, you are the history of human beings. You are a human being. It's all about you. Not only you, about the whole. So you are not learning to inquire. That's not all. Right?
It seems so, sir.
But
I
learn-
find it difficult
So
to.
this is not only one talk. We're going to have a series of discussions, right? If you are willing. If you are willing, we're going to have a series of discussions. Every Sunday morning, we'll go at it. But you must also, if I may suggest, go into it. Not just, well, I'll meet Sunday morning. I'll go into it, find out. I give you, not I give, you are given a whole week.
Yes.
See if you can pass the examination.